Hello and welcome in Arc Risers. This is Rising Arc Manifesting and I am your host, Eric Goodell. So what does it truly take to manifest your desires? In the realm of manifestation and conscious creation, we hear a lot of complex ideas. We get a lot of really in-depth and insightful teachings from many different teachers and sources. And some of them might even seem to conflict with each other. You might even run into disagreements and arguments between coaches on what to do and what not to do. So is manifestation really this complicated? Or can it really be effortless? Well, we're going to get into all of that and more. But first, let me just remind you to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. And also, coaching is available. All of my links are in the description. So with the wealth of information that's out there with conscious creation, how do you know if you're doing it right? Maybe you're struggling in a rough time in your life and you're trying to manifest the opposite, but your current circumstances make that seem impossible, or impossible for you to occupy the state of your wish fulfilled in the midst of these circumstances. Or maybe you're jumping from coach to coach and trying out different techniques and none of them seem to be working. Well, does manifestation really have to be this complicated? Is there a way that we can make it easier on ourselves? Well, first off, I just want to say this, that manifestation is the easiest, most natural thing in the world. Without knowing a single thing about manifestation, you are already a master manifester. You are always the operant power, the source, the wellspring of everything that shows up in your experience. You are a master manifester because you have manifested every single thing in your world. And that doesn't mean that you're to blame for all of the bad things. We're having this limited human experience in order to experience the contrasts, the high vibe, the low vibe, the good and the bad, and even all of the things that you're completely indifferent to. But realize that manifestation is not a difficult process. You are manifesting your reality 24/7. Your entire reality is a projection of your consciousness. And so with your consciousness, you have the ability to select from within infinite possibilities, to select from all that there is, from within all of creation, any experience that you would like to experience. And creation is finished. There's not even anything that you need to create. We create our realities and our experiences by selecting what's already there. What's already real, what's already yours. So you were manifesting your reality. You were manifesting all of the good things in your life before you ever even heard about a manifestation coach. You didn't have to sit around and do techniques. It's a natural process. It's a natural ability. But if we were going to boil manifestation down to its simplest component, if you were to ask, well, how do I begin right now doing it consciously? In my personal opinion, it's consistency, it's repetition. It's what you continuously choose to focus on and how you consistently see yourself in relation to it. So the great teacher Neville Goddard had a technique he called the ladder method. And he told this to his audience one time as a way to prove to themselves that manifestation is real. So he basically instructed them to have inner conversations where they told themselves that they would not climb a ladder. And they would repeat this to themselves. But then at night, when they were going to go to sleep, they were to imagine themselves climbing a ladder. They were instructed to feel themselves gripping the rims of the ladder and climbing up, step by step, while falling asleep, climbing this ladder. And then later on, when he met with members of this same audience, a great many were astounded that they had been put into situations or encountered circumstances which required them to climb a ladder. What they had done through consistency and repetition is they impressed the subconscious mind with the idea of climbing a ladder. They put themselves into that state of being. They occupied that state of being. They gave themselves that experience. And so this is one fun and practical way that you could prove it to yourself. It doesn't have to be a ladder, and it doesn't have to be in the form of a negative. You don't have to say, well, I'm not going to do this thing. It's the focus and the attention on that thing. But since that much of our lives, we've been conditioned to not necessarily pay attention to our thoughts. We're not necessarily in the habit of consciously directing our thoughts and constructing inner dialogue. But this is really how you initiate conscious creation or conscious manifestation, really on its simplest level. Through repetition and consistency, you impress your subconscious mind with an idea or a belief in relation to a specific person or circumstance or thing. But what can trip a lot of us up is the fact that we have many subconscious belief systems that we have reiterated time and time again, where we formed internal convictions. We've had many inner conversations where we've strengthened and reinforced negative belief systems. So this is where manifestation gets a little bit deeper, because a great many of us have areas in our lives where we have some deeply rooted convictions and subconscious impressions that are not beneficial to us at all. And so while we may repeat affirmations, we may fall asleep in the conviction of the feeling of our wish fulfilled. But then as we go through our day, we're telling ourselves these negative stories. We're believing in them. We're reiterating them and repeating them. We keep impressing our subconscious mind with these negative stories. And this can open up a whole new can of worms. Because now that you're becoming aware of your negative belief systems, and now that you're trying to reinforce your beneficial belief systems, this can create a pretty strong contrast between the two. And it can lead to an apparent conflict within yourself as you're battling these negative belief systems, or you're trying to stamp them down, or you're trying to control them, while trying to keep yourself high vibe, while trying to keep yourself in the state of the wish fulfilled. And then the more the external circumstances trigger you, it's easy to feel set back. It's easy to feel defeated. It's easy to feel like you have failed in your manifestation. And this is just one of the reasons why it's highly beneficial to cultivate a deep understanding about phrases that we hear a lot in manifestation. One such saying is, circumstances don't matter. Another one is that you are the operant power of your reality. So when we say that circumstances don't matter, it's not meant as a denial of circumstances. It's not an attempt to be delusional about circumstances. It's not an attempt to lie to yourself or force yourself to believe anything. And when we say that you are the operant power of your reality, well, that implies a whole lot more than just simply that you have the ability to consciously create your experience. It means a whole lot more than that you are creating your reality. On a deeper level, on a very real level, it means that you are reality. What you have come to understand as reality is merely a construct, a projection of reality, ultimate reality, which is you. You are the one and only reality. There is nothing outside of you. There is nothing apart from you. There is nothing that you are disconnected from. And you contain it all. You contain all possibilities, past, present, and future. There are no missed opportunities because you contain all of the opportunities. And we are always in perfect divine timing because all time is now. Time isn't even real. Time itself is a construct. There is only the eternal now, one perfect moment. That one eternal moment where you are constantly expressing as your highest, most divine self as God consciousness. This physical experience is only a dream of that ultimate reality. So let's bring this new concept of self that we've been discussing. Let's take these deeper understandings of how it is that circumstances don't matter and why it is that you're the operant power, and bring that back to this idea of negative belief systems. Bring it back to the idea of negative self-concepts, all of this negative programming. And let's really integrate this with our new understanding. Circumstances don't matter. Well, what is a negative belief system? The fact that you have a negative belief system, it's just a circumstance. And circumstances don't matter. And circumstances don't matter because you are the operant power. Circumstances don't matter because they are events which take place in linear time. And as the operant power, you exist outside of time. You exist outside of the entire construct of time. So do you really need these deeper levels of understanding in order to manifest something? Absolutely not. In fact, within this subjective experience that we're having, in the 3D, someone else could espouse a completely different view on reality, and they would be equally as correct. Nothing in our reality has any meaning that we have not assigned to it. Every single circumstance in your life, it's an empty vessel until you assign it a meaning. And because the entire universe is an extension of you, you are unconditionally supported. But realize that because you are unconditionally supported, you will be supported in the illusion of lack and separation. If these are terms and definitions that you have accepted for yourself in relation to your desires, to the things in your world, and yourself in relation to them. It doesn't mean that lack and separation are truly possible, but if you give your power over to these concepts, to these egotistical ideas that aren't based in your ultimate reality, the true perfection of yourself, then you will create that illusory experience within the 3D, and it will be very real to you because you believe in it. It's one possibility amongst an infinite selection. So a lot of these deeper teachings, these deeper meanings, are extremely beneficial for us to learn because it shows us more about ourselves and how to connect more with ourselves, to begin forming a better relationship with ourselves, one that doesn't come from judgment, one that acknowledges our innate creative powers and our ability to shape our life and our world, to begin to see everything as interconnected, to be able to be the observer and to view negative thoughts and emotions and circumstances in a different light without giving them our power. You can manifest just fine through consistency and repetition alone. But on a deeper level, if we want to make conscious creation a way of life, it's more than repeating an affirmation. It's more than doing a technique. And it's way more than just trying to get something that we perceive to be separate from us. But the journey to the realization of ourselves as God is a journey that we're all undertaking. And it's already been perfected. It's already been accomplished within eternity. But within the illusory experience of time, we can lengthen that journey or we can shorten that journey. We can be convinced of the machinations of the ego, this physical world, things, circumstances, and events. Or we can consciously be merging with that higher self, that God consciousness, more and more becoming who we truly are. But that truth of who we are can never be threatened. It can never be taken away from you. It's an eternal reality. Another of Neville Goddard's teachings was about the pearl of great price. So the pearl of great price represents that deep connection, that deep harmony with your true self, your God consciousness, that state of being where you are connected to the all. You recognize yourself as it all, where you inwardly know that you are not separated from any of your desires, where you have continuously brought yourself back to the realization that you are already whole, perfect, and complete regardless of any external circumstances. So in so many words, this is basically what that pearl of great price represents. But in order to buy this pearl of great price, you have to sell all of your limiting beliefs. You have to sell all of your inner convictions that are based on lack and separation. This is the price to buy the pearl. So do you have to go so far as buying this pearl of great price in order to manifest what you want? Do you have to eradicate all of your limiting beliefs before you can get what it is that you want? Absolutely not. Manifestation is not complicated. It's not difficult. You don't have to have a deep understanding of these advanced teachings in order to get what it is that you want. But they will help to reveal to you just how easy and effortless manifestation is. They can help keep you consciously on track, helping you build those pathways in your mind through the consistent and repetitive return to the acknowledgement of the reality of who we are. Arc Risers, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future content. And don't forget that coaching is open. What's that? You're still here? Well, that must mean that you're in need of a notebook. particularly a groovy notebook where you can do your scripting, write your affirmations. You can do your journaling. I mean, look how gorgeous these things are. So pick one up today. You get a beautiful notebook, and you help me spread the good news of conscious creation. It's a win-win. So yeah, what are you waiting for? And remember, never stop rising.